Detroit is a city built on stories. Some are told loudly, others are buried quietly beneath time and fear. On Hazelwood Street, in a neighborhood many have forgotten, something happened that was never fully explained. This is not just a crime story. This is a story about silence. On a June morning in 1971, inside a 3-story brick house on Hazelwood Street, 8 people were found shot to death. It remains the largest mass murder in Detroit's history. More than 50 years later, the case is still unsolved. This is the story of the Hazelwood Massacre, an event that left a deep scar on a community already fighting to survive. Detroit in the early 1970s was a city in transition. The aftershocks of the 1967 uprising were still felt in every neighborhood. Factories were beginning to close, jobs were disappearing, and in the vacuum left behind, the illegal drug trade expanded rapidly. Heroin was becoming a dominant force in Detroit's underground economy. Networks stretched across state lines and international borders. Violence often followed disputes over territory, money, or betrayal. It was in this environment, one marked by economic hardship and shifting power structures, that the events on Hazelwood Street unfolded. On June 14, 1971, police entered the home at 1970 Hazelwood Street after receiving calls from a neighbor and from a woman who had rushed her injured husband to the hospital. Inside, they discovered 7 bodies. An 8th victim, found earlier at the hospital, had also been shot. All 8 victims were African American. The victims included Robert Gardner, Catherine Louise Winston, Narcissa Lee Brown, Catherine Betty Basser, Sharon Brown, Romandell Burton, Carl Carrington, Mounts Jr., Lloyd Kenneth, Tyler. Most had been shot at close range. Investigators described the killings as execution style. According to police reports at the time, Robert Gardner was believed to be the primary target. Gardner was known to be involved in heroin trafficking and pimping too. Authorities suspected that the other victims, men and women, ranging from 18 to 27 years old, were killed to eliminate witnesses. Investigators pursued a lead involving 2 drug dealers from Toronto. Months earlier, in March 1971, Gardner had allegedly robbed them while they were visiting Detroit. Police theorized that the Hazelwood killings were a retaliatory hit, ordered from Canada 3. But no arrests were ever made. The massacre sent shockwaves through Detroit. Families were devastated. Community members were terrified. The scale of the violence, 8 lives taken in one night, was unprecedented. The case quickly became a symbol of the growing dangers tied to the drug trade. It also highlighted the vulnerability of young Black Detroiters caught in cycles of poverty, limited opportunity, and criminal exploitation. Despite the magnitude of the crime, the investigation struggled. Witnesses were scarce. Fear of retaliation was widespread, and the criminal networks involved were complex and difficult to penetrate. More than 50 years later, the Hazelwood Massacre remains officially unsolved. Several factors contributed to this outcome. First, the suspected motive, retaliation within the drug trade, meant that many individuals with knowledge of the crime were themselves involved in illegal activity. Cooperation with law enforcement was unlikely. Second, the killings were carried out with precision. Multiple firearms were used. The shooters left few clues. It appeared to be a planned operation, executed by people who understood how to avoid leaving evidence. Third, cross-border leads involving Toronto complicated the investigation. At the time, coordination between agencies in different countries was far more limited than it is today. Finally, the victims, young, Black, and connected to a man involved in criminal activity, did not receive the level of sustained public attention that might have kept pressure on the case. The result was a tragedy that faded from headlines long before it faded from memory. Today, Hazelwood Street looks different. The house where the massacre occurred is gone, but the story remains. A reminder of a turbulent era, of 8 lives cut short, and of a case that still holds unanswered questions. The Hazelwood Massacre is more than a crime scene from the past. It is a reflection of the forces that shaped Detroit, the communities that endured hardship, and the lives that deserve to be remembered with dignity. This has been Black Shadows, Detroit Stories. Thank you for watching.